This is Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Subscribe for new content notifications. Now, here's Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. You can follow me on Twitter at BackupBradleyAbove and everything that we're talking about here today. So, all right, one thing I wanted to tell you is that I have a backup channel called the Digital Ledger channel. If you haven't subscribed to that channel, I would subscribe to that. I will be doing some impromptu surprise live streams on that channel, maybe even tonight. You never know. The Digital Ledger channel. Make sure it's in the description box. You can get the link to that, or you can just type in the Digital Ledger channel on YouTube and you'll find it. Okay, now, with that being said, I want to go ahead and get started, and I wanted to show this diagram that I made for this morning's video, the Ripple's mission in action. You see the blockchain infrastructure company Ripple, showing how everything's laid out here for RippleNet, RippleX, and congratulations to Ashish Birla and Monica Long for their new positions that they'll be taking the helm of RippleX and RippleNet. We know Ripple Swell Conference is just a few days away, and Ripple Impact creates greater economic fairness, promotes greater economic fairness and opportunity throughout the world through the use of education, research, and philanthropy through using all of their efforts there at Ripple and the XRP Ledger and Foundation. So, with that being said, I just wanted to show that diagram really quickly because let's go ahead and get into the news here. We're going to talk about this little light piece, which is interesting. The number of XRP related posts on different social media networks skyrocketed by a whopping 120% over the last 48 hours. Data from Lunar Crush reveals that roughly 7.2 million social engagements have been registered today. Wow, that's a lot. That's a lot. Now, one of the other things I want to get into, as we go through this material, we're going to get into this material, and we're going to talk about how trillions of dollars are about to enter this space in a very, very big, in a very, very profound way, which will be transformational, I believe, for XRP specifically and potentially XLM. This is not financial advice. I just believe that for the topic of discussion that we're going to cover today, that these two assets have really put themselves in a position to be able to benefit from the moves that we're getting ready to report on. So let's go ahead and keep going here. So U.S. Senator Toomey highlights from Pennsylvania, but if you don't know, highlights digital currency regs as he eyes a banking panel chairmanship. He goes on to say that if he is elected as a chairperson to the banking panel, he will pursue digital currency regulations and reform to the payment system as one of his main goals as a chairperson, should he be elected. So that's good news there. Then expanding on the Chamber of Digital Commerce and that little panel that has been put together there and what they've been doing. They just sent $50 in Bitcoin to every U.S. member of Congress. It's a part of a drive to educate Congress about Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, obviously. If Congress learned more about Bitcoin, it could help the blockchain advocacy group push for specific policy proposals. I don't think giving them a little bit of money is a bad place to start at all, because all of a sudden, they want to hear more. It doesn't matter what side. You give them a little bit of money and they're like, let me hear some more about what you're doing. Crypto for Congress. This is another initiative by the Digital Chamber of Commerce, who is absolutely on fire at being able to come up with initiatives that are aimed at educating and really getting the knowledge to the congressional candidates, elected leaders, and engaged citizens about digital assets and the adoption of blockchain technology. So building on that, let's go into this, because we know that the UK's FCA, Financial Conduct Authority, has been a leader, honestly, in the regulatory space and crafting a framework. And Ripple, Michelle Bond has been very vocal in past Ripple Drop that they look to the FCA for leadership in this area because they felt that they had a very good understanding about how to deal with these digital assets and regulatory framework. So with that being said, as of January 6, 21, UK's FCA bans retail sale of crypto derivatives. The ban will come into effect on January 6, 2021. The reason cited here, and we've covered this before, but we're coming up on that moment, so it's touching up again on news. So FCA has published final rules banning the sales of derivatives and exchange traded notes, ETNs, that reference certain types of crypto assets to retail consumers. It says here, the FCA considers these products to be ill-suited for retail customers due to the harm they pose. These products cannot be reliably valued by retail consumers because of the inherent nature of the underlying assets, which means they have no reliable basis for valuation. I believe that point alone talks about the lack of price discovery. Prevalence of the market abuse and financial crime in secondary markets, cyber theft, which, is always a very real element out here, no matter what you're dealing with, whether it's the asset or a product on top of it. Extreme volatility in crypto asset price movements. Well, that's because I believe we don't have use case driving the market for most of these assets. And I believe once we do, we will see a lot of these assets fall to the wayside. Inadequate understanding of crypto assets by retail consumers, which is absolutely accurate, and the lack of legitimate investment need for retail consumers to invest in these products. So at the end of the day, it seems like they're posing this all from the angle of consumer protection is basically where we're at here. So it's still a young market. We'll have to see what goes on. We get a little more clarity internationally and domestically. Who knows? I think it could open up broadly. We'll keep an eye on it. Now, shifting gears here, the Bank of Canada argues that the safety of a central bank digital currency might rely on third parties such as exchanges. That's quite a statement, isn't it? Canada's central bank issued a new staff analytical note analyzing the risk of issuing a CBDC. So basically talking about the idea that they may rely on third party, that public-private relationship. I don't think it's a bad idea. I really don't think it's a bad idea. Private companies are better suited for, the security, the scalability, and those types of things. You don't typically think of public entities, government entities, at good at scaling or good at innovation, rather, even. So it's, certainly governments are good at scaling because they get bigger. They never seem to come out with a letter or an announcement that says, you know what, we're actually going to downsize. So I guess the bigger point here is that governments alike and banks in general are not innovators to speak of. So that public-private relationship, again, being highlighted here, and I think it continues to build no matter where we go, whether it's Canada or some other country. Moving on, we see China's central bank wants to create interoperability for the cross-border payments. So it sounds like they need XRP. At SWIFT, Sibos, the deputy governor of the People's Bank of China, said digital currency trials have done 1.1 billion digital yuan paid so far. Now that to me is exciting because nothing like a little incentive to really bring it on home. I mean, nothing like a real incentive to bring it on home, I want to tell you. And that to me is a lot of incentive right there. So make sure that we keep an eye on this because everybody around the world knows that they don't want China to be the real leader in this digital asset space, this new fourth industrial revolution, right? And I think that's the one thing that all parties around the world actually agree on. So we'll keep an eye on that. I love that they're pushing the needle on this because it forces the rest of the world to go ahead and get out here and get doing it, because if not, they will be the leader in it. So here we go. Moving forward here, HSBC, we're excited to announce the world's first global decentralized digital trade finance platform using blockchain technology has gone live this week to coincide with Sibos. Well, we like this, okay? And we're going to drill down on this article here because this has massive implications. Contour goes live. Contour goes live, making blockchain-based trade finance a reality. let's get down into this a bit here, because look, the rocket is appropriate here. Okay. Even if it looks like a Stellar rocket, it's still appropriate. You know, and I like Stellar and XRP. I think they're both suited for things like this. Blockchain Trade Finance Initiative Contour has now left beta, bringing the decentralized digital trade finance platform into full live production. Owned by 8 shareholder banks, Bangkok Bank, BNB Paribas, we know is absolutely tied in with Ripple, HSBC as well, Ing, Standard Chartered, SEB and Citi. Contour delivers a global network for trade finance over distributed ledger, which allows parties to transact and view information securely. Contour started life as Voltron, a prototype trade finance application built on R3's Corda platform in the mid-2017. So, launched later this year at Sibos in Sydney, it underwent extensive period of testing by over 80 banks and corporates. Trials were held in 17 countries and transactions spanning commodities, petrochemicals, energy, metals, retail goods, textiles. Did you just hear that? Commodities, petrochemicals, energy, metals, retail goods, and textiles before going into commercial beta as a standalone legal entity at the beginning of this year. Trade finance is trillions of dollars. Period. These 8 banks are massive. These are not corner stores. This is enormous news. And by the way, R3's Corda platform, where they build on this, has access to the Corda settler, which uses the digital asset XRP for settlement. Hence why I'm excited. There you go. Okay. Drilling on and moving just into investment, hedge funds, and investing, coming out of the trade finance world. As you can see, this is burning all its way to the middle of this thing. The candle is burning from both ends, okay? I mean, they are coming at this thing from all angles. 3 of the largest asset managers are diversifying their funds to hold blockchain stocks, throwing more establishment financial might behind Bitcoin's technology. Well, if I could just impress upon you, because people will say, oh my gosh, well, that's good news, right? Well, let's just look at how good news it is. Fidelity, VanGaurd, and Schwab funds have been loading up on crypto mining stock. Stock of 3 major cryptocurrency mining firms are appearing in Fidelity, VanGaurd, Charles Schwab's mutual funds. Let's go down into this really quickly here, because it says right here that they start talking about Charles Schwab has begun purchasing shares of Riot Blockchain, joining Fidelity and VanGaurd. Already, investors in Riot, Hive, Blockchain Technologies, Hut 8, and BC Group. In allocating mutual fund holdings to a cryptocurrency company, according to financial filings with the U.S. Securities Exchange Commission. The stock purchases also double down on the mutual fund managers' equity investments and experiments in the space. Schwab this summer invested in Alchemy, an Ethereum application platform, while VanGaurd has been piloting Symbiont's blockchain for foreign exchange transactions. Symbiont also tied in with NASDAQ, by the way. And Fidelity has a digital asset arm set to launch a trading service in Bitcoin index fund and has backed Coinmetrics, Fireblocks, and Everledger. Let's just put a little perspective on this, okay? How big is Fidelity? What are we talking about here? It's one of the largest asset managers in the world with $3.3 trillion in assets under management as of June 2020, and a combined total customer asset value number of $8.3 trillion. Come on in, and we're not done. Have a seat. We'll let you know. Don't try to exit the vehicle until it comes to a full stop. All right, so here we go. So as of 2020, VanGaurd has more than $6.2 trillion in assets under management, second to BlackRock, which has 6.47. And we know BlackRock is deep in the crypto and blockchain. But sticking with the three we're talking about here, Charles Schwab is an American multinational financial services company founded in San Francisco, California, headquartered in Soma District, San Francisco. Charles Schwab is the 14th largest bank institution in the United States, over $3.3 trillion in client assets as of 2019. If this doesn't give you the size and order of magnitude between this and Contour and R3's relationship with trade finance, I don't know if you're really going to ever see it. I really do. I asked the question because this is so massive right here that the Blockchain Trade Finance Initiative Contour is now left beta, bringing the decentralized digital trade finance platform into full live production. I just want to read that again. Into full live production. Okay, we're talking about settling commodities, petrochemicals, energy, metals, retail goods, textiles, while we're watching the biggest three investment groups take positions into blockchain and mining cryptocurrency companies. Yep, that's going to do it for me. Hit the like and subscribe. Make sure you leave a comment below and make sure you share this with somebody you know. And keep a lookout for any possible live stream, possibly tonight on the Digital Ledger channel, maybe even later this week as well. And also, I did want to tell you guys, if I can get this to open really quickly here, if you have not done it, I do want to remind you here to absolutely go sign up and download the free app for Link2. It's very simple. Private investing made simple. Listen, this is, you have to be an accredited investor to buy these stocks. You see, they have some great products out here, by the way, too. Look, they've got Kraken, Ripple, blockchain co-investor, which is almost like a real estate REIT. You invest money and then they put it into several projects for you. Link2, you can get Uphold, Upgrade. They had SoFi, but I think that's out currently right now. But geez, they got Kraken, just got a bank license. So, but here's the benefit if you're not an accredited investor. It's access. It's a great community to be involved in. They do a lot of community-oriented projects. They have conferences that you could actually get into for free. So this is pretty remarkable, and you're going to have that one-on-one kind of access through these conferences, which are really, really well done, by the way, with some of the biggest venture capitalists in this space, like a Tim Draper or a Greg Kidd. So make sure you download that app for free and register for free and become a part of that community. You never know. And by the way, not financial advice in any of this, but, I believe not too long in the distant future, all of us will be talking to each other as accredited investors. So, all right, guys, that's going to do it for me. I'm going to get out of here. Hit that like and subscribe. Make sure you leave a comment below. Share with somebody you know. I'll catch all of you on the next one.